Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another video from Old Frames Gaming. I'm your host, BK, and I just want to say thank you for tuning in for another pre-modern video. If you're a new viewer, we appreciate you stopping by. For those who are returning, we thank you for your continued support. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the round 3 match from our October meetup at Dragon's Den, and it features Matt playing Mono Black Hatred versus Colin on Red Black Goblins. Let's dive into the deck techs. Matt is on a pretty iconic list for anyone who's been around the game for a significant length of time. The Wrath cycle provided the Magic community with a ton of bangers, and Exodus didn't slow down when it came to this deck. With a full boat of Hatred, Dark Ritual, and Carnophage, Matt can take a game down as early as turn 2. He backs that up with some disruption with the likes of Cabal Therapy and Duress, as well as some moderate board control using cards like Contagion to potentially take down multiple threats from his opponents, or even repeatable removal with Plague Bearer. Sprinkle in some evasive creatures like Dalty Shadow and Pro-White Black Knights and Knight of Stromgald, and well, it's a party, at least for Matt. Let's take a look at his sideboard. And Matt's sideboard doesn't slow down either. His card choices here nearly guarantee his creatures are getting through, bringing additional removal in like Diabolic Edict, Spinning Darkness, and Funeral Charm, backed up by creature type suppression and Engineered Plague. To top it all off, he's even shoring up his mono red matchups with the beloved Bottle Gnomes. He's got a lot of bases covered, but can he keep up with the little green men? Let's jump over to Colin's deck list and check it out. Back on camera for the next round, Colin is looking to take Goblin Lackey, Goblin War Chief, and the rest of his crew across the finish line to avenge that round 2 loss to Shane. He's got some early removal and Diabolic Edict too in case Matt's able to land a first turn Carnophage or a Sarcomancy. His sideboard's going to help pump up his team with Drawnews Crusade, and he'll get a little bit of additional help in the removal territory with Pyrokinesis in a pinch. This should be a pretty good matchup to watch. I, for one, am really excited to see this ultra-fast aggro matchup go down. Let's join our players at the table. And as we join our players here in this round 3 matchup, Matt is going to be on the left-hand side of the screen and Colin is going to be on your right. Both of these players are shuffled up and drawn their initial grip of 7 cards. Both will remain on 7, and Colin has won the die roll, so he is going to go first here momentarily. He's going to open up on a Bloodstained Mire and go digging through his library for a mountain or a swamp. And I have a feeling that Colin here knows what Matt is likely on because he is going right past every single one of those mountains to find that lone swamp, which means that he has likely found a Diabolic Edict in his opening hand and knows the importance of being able to take down that first creature that Matt's able to play. So he's going to pass the turn back over to Matt here in just a second. Matt's going to draw for the turn. He's going to open up on Swamp. Into Dark Ritual, into Dalty Slayer, into Sarcomancy, which is difficult to see from the glare, but the token is en route to the battlefield. So that is in fact what it is. These players having a little bit of discussion here about what Sarcomancy is, how it works, what it does. And then Colin's also going to take a look at the Dalty Slayer here, just so he is aware of what that card does. So Dalty Slayer, a 2/2 shadow creature that can only block or be blocked by shadow creatures and must attack every turn. Matt passes back. Colin finds a mountain and plays it. And he is looking pretty hard at that Diabolic Edict. And he opts to go ahead and cast it. Matt checking out what's in his hand. He's going to go ahead and sacrifice that zombie, knowing the importance of having that unblockable shadow creature, because there are no shadow creatures in Colin's deck. Matt's going to take one off the Sarcomancy for not having a zombie in play. He's going to find another swamp and come across into the red zone for 2, sending Colin down to 17. He's going to follow that up with a Cabal Therapy. I don't know what the name is here. I'm sorry, a Duress. That's going to reveal a handful of stuff that Matt cannot target, because they are all either creatures or lands. But Matt is going to follow that up with Cabal Therapy, naming Goblin Matron. So Matron's going to go to the bin, and Matt's going to pass the turn. Colin untaps and draws and takes a look at a new mountain off the top. He's going to go ahead and play that mountain. It looks like Goblin King has joined the party, everybody. Colin passes on back to Matt. Matt takes one more damage off Sarcomancy. And he has managed to find a Carnophage. And another Sarcomancy. He's going to come on across for 2 more damage, sending Colin down to 15, and he's going to pass the turn. So on Colin's turn, he finds a Sulphurous Springs off the top. He's looking at Gem Palm Incinerator there. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Goblin King has been errata to be a goblin. So he would actually be able to get some damage off of this card if he were to cycle it. He's thinking very strongly about his choices here. This is one of those decks you cannot afford to have a misstep against, really. So he passes the turn back to Matt. Matt shows him that he has the requisite zombie in play, so no damage off Sarcomancy. Duress does not find any legal targets. Just reveals the new mountain. But Matt does pay the life off Carnophage, as he should. There we go. So, coming into the red zone for 6 here. Colin thinking about blocks. He's definitely going to take 2 off of that Dauthi Slayer. Plus an additional 2 off one of those others, should he choose to block one of them. Colin throws Goblin King in front of the zombie token. A little bit of discussion amongst the players again here, just to make sure that we've got all of our blocks in place and everything is accounted for appropriately. I think there may be some discussion here about the creature types, but like I said, I'm pretty sure that this has been errata to be a goblin at this point. But either way, that roadblock is going to land right in front of that zombie, and both of them are going to hit the bin. Colin's going to take 4 and go down to 11. Matt follows that up with a 3rd Sarcomancy and gets his goblin or his zombie token back. Colin's turn finds another mountain. Not seeing much help here. He's going to go ahead and play it on out. And he should, because Siege Gang is something that could be live at some point. He's going to go ahead and cycle the Gem Palm, draw a card. Looks like he's found a Wasteland. He passes the turn over to Matt, who takes 1 off the Carnophage. He goes to 16. And he's going to come across for 6 here, sending Colin on down to 5. Something else has landed in play there, but I can't see it for the glare, and I apologize for that. Colin draws a Rishadan Port, and it appears that there is enough power in play that he is not going to be able to survive the next onslaught. He goes ahead and plays the mountain, though, and passes the turn back to Matt. Matt's going to pay his 1 for Carnophage and draw a card. And he's going to send all of his guys into the red zone. And that should do it for game one. All right. Pretty quick game one. Unfortunate that Colin didn't see much more gas than he did. We're going to give these players an opportunity to sideboard up, and we'll join them in game two momentarily. And opening up in game two, Colin is going to be on the play. He's going to be on a mulligan to 5 cards. So here shortly he is going to choose 2 of these and put them on the bottom of his library before we start our gameplay. Looking these over and trying to decide what he wants to do here. Looks like he's putting a siege gang on the bottom possibly. That one is likely pretty far out of reach. He chose a matron for the second card, but seems to be reconsidering maybe. Siege gangs come back to the hand. Looks like a ringleader is going to go to the bottom. I believe Matt started on 7 cards. Colin being the nice guy here and resetting his life total to 20. So Colin's going to lead off on Bloodstained Mire. And he's going to go to 19 and go try to find himself a basic land. He manages to find a mountain in that pile. He's going to shuffle up a little bit here and present to Matt after randomizing. Matt's going to cut and pass back to Colin here. That appears to be a Skirk Prospector. So we've opened up on a 1-1. So we've got a blocker at least. He's going to pass to Matt, who plays a swamp and says, go ahead. So here Colin's found a Mog Fanatic, which could prove to be pretty useful. He's going to go ahead and play that Fanatic and swing on across into the red zone for 1 damage. Sending Matt to 19, passing the turn. Matt draws a new one off the top. Taps 2. He's found a Dothy Slayer. Again, that's a 2/2 shadow that has to attack every turn. So Colin in no danger of having his creatures block this turn, but he's going to take 2 on the crackback. Alright, so we're using Skirk Prospector's ability here to power out a War Chief. That's going to reduce the cost on his goblins and give them haste. But he didn't attack here, surprisingly. Matt finds a 3rd swamp. And he is studying what his next move is going to be, which is going to be attacking with that Slayer. And it looks like it is going to be a Hatred for a lot. These players doing some math here. So Matt looks like he paid 17 life. And just like that, game 2 is over with. Wow, out of nowhere. Like I said, this deck is quick, y'all. It's a lot of fun, and it is super, super fast. So these players have concluded round 3 here already. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you like this kind of content, I would appreciate it much if you would like and subscribe. Those things are free to do. If you enjoy old school content, we would encourage you to head on over to the Orb and check out Joe Singer's channel. Joe does all kinds of old school content on there. Surely you can find something that will entertain you. If you're ever in the area of Western Kentucky, we would ask that you swing on by Dragon's Den. It's a super group of people down there. I think you'd have a really, really great time stopping in and playing some Magic. We're going to let these players go ahead and box up their decks after this round 3 matchup. Stay tuned for another video from Old Frames Gaming.